Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Today I wanted to walk you through this scene. I had it requested by somebody that I do a snow scene. So this is from the town when we used to live in, Three Hills. This is a picture I took myself. The actual picture doesn't look quite like this. Looking kind of north of town out on a walk. And so yeah, I'll walk you through the process from the sketch to the painting all the way to the end. Nice easy one, and you can follow along. Alright you guys, I have the paper taped up. I'm going landscape. The picture, the reference photo itself is portrait, but that'll be not too hard of a translation over. There's a few things that I want to do, so I'll start off with the horizon line. I'd like to angle it a little more. It's in the actual reference photo. There is a bit of a hill, but I just want to exaggerate it a little more. Okay, like that. I'm going to offset the building and the post. So take the building further over here, this house, and just going to zoom in. There's a single window. Not going to put the antenna on. And we've kind of got a tree. I'm just going to do a vague couple of the trunks. This line, I'm probably going to drop it because where it is right now is probably not where the actual grass will be. There's a couple more trunks in here, and here. It's probably like, I want a little bit more cleanness in here than I have gotten there. There we go. All right, zoom back out. So yeah, we've got that tree, couple, just telling ourselves where those other trees are. And then the actual horizon is going to be just a little bit below that. The post, kind of want to offset it a bit, so here, and I think we'll worry about the actual lines, the wires, once we actually get into the painting. I don't need to do that. Everything else, I'm just going to leave. If we really want, we could bring out, I don't actually want those other roofs there, so I think I'll just leave them. Yeah, I think the rest we'll just deal with in the painting phase. So a couple things before we start. My plan is for a lot of the blues to be using my, or is it here, Cerulean Blue chromium. I don't use it that often. Usually I'm into ultramarine, but I'm going to be using that. So I've cleaned up a space here, got rid of my ultramarine from there. And I want it to read as very cool blues, especially in the sky. Maybe we'll change blues down near the bottom. So what I'm going to do is wet this whole thing. I'm using this is my Ultimo size 14 Escoda Ultimo. Not the biggest brush I have, but a big one. And I'm just going to wet all the way down to the horizon. Buildings should be pretty easy to go around because they're like very simple shapes. Okay, then just to make sure stuff hasn't dried, just gonna kind of go back over once more. This is, oh no, this is different paper. Never mind. I've been painting with a lot of hot press paper, and it's definitely changed just how the water reacts and everything, and so I feel like I'm having to work around that. So I'm switching to my slightly smaller brush. This is a 12 versatile. Doesn't really matter. Could be using the other one. Probably should be. And I'm mixing up my Cerulean Blue chromium. I'm going to try to leave a space over to the left, where the clouds are. So we'll try to work around that. Now, because we're going into water that's, water that's already laid down, I'm trying to go quite strong, just because I know that it always dries lighter, and I've just had times where I go too light and then it ends up being kind of washed out. So try to really get some strong blues in there and just kind of go like that. Now I want to get a gray color, so I'm just going to go a little bit of burnt sienna and mix in with this, and we'll kind of just go here. That can be really nice and light. And then I might just take a little bit of that down here. There you go. Okay, while this is still wet, we're going to try to do our grass here. So this is yellow ochre. I'm just taking it pretty much straight out of the pan. I might put it right here and go along. You can bring it down, and that's going all the way across. What I should have done is go like that. There we go. And now above that, I'm going to go neutral tint. I'm trying to remember where it is. I haven't used the neutral tint much. And then some raw umber. Kind of go a dark earthy color. Well, this is all still wet, and we're going to balloon in some trees. So again, raw umber. Don't need a lot of neutral tint at this point. And we're just going to try to put this in above where we put in those lighter colors. It's a little bit of a tree there. There. I think I'll go one more pass with the, what's it called? The yellow ochre. There's kind of trees along here. And then I kind of end there. So rinsing off my brush, getting some yellow ochre again. Oops, sorry, I keep doing that. And I'm just kind of adding it in here on some of these spots where it's like quite wet. And I think I'll break this, this continuous line. I've started it a little just by accident. Just gonna go like that. Go. All right, we'll let that dry. So while I was waiting for that to dry, I was going through the decision of, what to use in the shadow area. So for the shadows, we're going to go blue. I was just trying to decide if we're going to use the same blue that we used up here or going darker, like a more of a warmer blue, like ultramarine. And I think I'm going to go ultramarine because, or I could also do Cobalt Blue, which I think I will. And the reason for that is if I kind of squinted looking at the picture and was trying to decide, is the ground darker than the sky, the shadow areas, and I'm pretty sure they are. So we're going to go a very light Cobalt Blue, trying not to hit your camera with the end of the brush. Okay, so I'm just mixing this beside the Cerulean. And I'm just going to go through, we're going to work kind of from top to bottom and just go through and get some of these areas. It's probably darker, I feel like, than I want, but it's always that hard thing where it's like, it's gonna dry lighter, but you just don't want it to be too dark. Don't mind it getting darker, especially further down, but don't want it too dark too early on. The other element is I really haven't done, I think I've done one winter scene before, so I'm kind of learning along with you guys. Bringing you guys on the journey of experimentation. I feel like I would rather you see my process of experimentation than to see a well rehearsed painting. Although there's room for that, I really appreciate, seeing some people who do videos of paintings that they've, done several different times, and so there's a certain level of mastery there that it's really nice to learn from. But I also appreciate spontaneity and the decision making that comes with that. Okay, so we're getting down to this last little bit here. So I'm just gonna kind of go like this. That's probably too strong. In here we're gonna go even more. Like we'll double up on the blue for some of these shadow areas around the post. Probably should have done the brown on the post first, now realizing. But I can do that after. Go like that. All right, taking yellow ochre, I'm gonna do the post. This is like probably a bad idea because we just did the blue, but it looks not crazy wet. So I think we'll manage. Go all the way down. And then I'm taking raw umber, pretty much straight from the pan. And we're just gonna lay that in a bit. Kind of like that broken look on that side. Just put a little bit in here. Wood grain kind of thing. Okay, so now as that dries, I think we're going to deal with kind of the shadowed blue areas, so the shadow within the shadow. So for that, I'm just going to do the same kind of like cobalt blue, I think, and just kind of add in some different spots in here. This is wet and wet, so got a little bit of that. Oh, the post actually has a shadow. I might wait, kind of do that, bring that out once we're not dealing with wet and wet, but there's a bit of this. Okay. Not sure if I'm crazy about these. Might just lighten them up a little so that they're there, but just don't want it to stand out too much. Something more like that. All right, we'll let that dry and then we'll start dealing with the blades of grass. I need to at some point go back and do the house as well. All right, gonna deal with the house. So I'm taking this cool yellow. I think it's Azo Yellow that I have. And I think I'll mix it with my Hansa Yellow Deep. I just want, not actually really sure what to do with this yellow. I don't know if I like the yellow, like the actual yellow that it is, but I don't want it to just be like this crazy, powerful, you know, primary yellow. Let's try that. Probably is on the side of like quite yellow. It's okay. It'll pop against the sky and everything. Okay, so now we'll deal with some blades of grass. For that, I'm going to be switching to my Escoda Perla. I'm mostly going to be working in my yellow ochre here. Mostly straight from the tube. We'll probably be getting into a little bit of raw umber as well, bring out some of those more earthy tones, and that's a very dry brush. And we're just going to be going along, adding in blades here and there, some bunches of them. And then there's the original picture has like quite a big block of shadowed grasses here, but we kind of lost some of those. There are little ones kind of out here. I want to keep them nice and thin. That's a nice thing about this brush. It's like I can work, if I hold it, you know, further away, I can work just with the tip, and it's quite fine. So I don't, not needing to use a really small detail brush. So I'm going to put a bunch of these yellow ochres in, and then we'll go in and add some raw umber as well. That was a bit of a mess. All right, so doing some raw umber now. Just kind of mix it in with stuff I already had. And I'm probably going to leave this stuff a little more for the shadowed areas. So I don't want to do too much out here. And try to leave the dark coming back here. So we kind of have the lighter colors out there, and then some more darker colors being introduced here. Go some more here. Might do a couple closer to here. All right, and then a few little ones kind of breaking the frame. Some in here. Going a little darker because some of this is just, it's quite watery. And go over this post again. Okay. All right, maybe a little more. Want some stuff breaking the, crossing over between this blue and in front of, in front of that wall of grass. And then there are some little like bunches like that. So we'll just lay some color down and smudge it. Don't want to do that too many times so it looks like a very repeated shape. But a few spots. And let's put one down here, quite big. All right. So now we have to decide what to do with the roof. I think what I'm going to do is just go neutral tint. Oh, bump the camera again. And I'm just going to keep using the same brush. A little bit shaky for some reason. It is a little cool. I've got to take a step away and take a breath in. Actually, I think I'll introduce some cerulean into that to go more of a, so I'm taking cerulean and mixing it with the neutral tint. Just want it to be more of like a blue gray than just a gray gray. And really trying it, oh my goodness. Really shaking a lot for some reason. Haven't had breakfast yet. That's probably it. All right. And then I think I'll just go like that. And just put a chimney on. In the actual picture there's like an antenna. You don't need that. And I'm just going to take some neutral tint. Sorry, hold it in front. And we'll just do the window. There we go. And then I'm going to take some raw umber. And I'm just going to bring out a bit of this trunk, which is going to be in front. Don't want it to be too strong. I just want to see a little bit of that. And then maybe some in here. All right. So the last thing to do would be add some of these wires. So for that, I'll just do the neutral tint again with some raw umber. I'm just mixing it in the blue, which I'll probably get really annoyed with later that I did that, just because now I need to clean it out for using it later. I'm going to stay with this brush, which I might regret, but we'll see how it goes. And I'm just going to try to keep the brush away from the paper enough to keep the lines really nice and thin. That one was a little less so. And then continue on from here. 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 This one's going to go down. And this one's going to meet it a little more like that. It's kind of a lopsided fence. And then I'm just going to go back in with this color a little bit and add some few more touches to the post just to bring it out in contrast again. And we'll add in some light gray birds. So I'm just, oh, now I'm very glad I did it. Mix in my blue and what I was just using. And we'll have them just, let's see, here. There. Won't overdo it, just a few birds. It is the middle of winter. They're probably trying to find, I don't know, mice or something, I guess. Whatever is out there. Snow rabbits. All right. And yeah, I think I'll just sign it. And that is our painting done, nice and short. All right, you guys, hope you enjoyed that. I've really enjoyed hearing different things in the comments and stuff from you guys. I've appreciated the feedback I've gotten, so if you have a suggestion of what you'd like to see more of, leave me a comment, let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys, and yeah, otherwise I'll see you in the next video.